All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2. Just heading out to get some supplies now. Supplies, mother. For episode 2, this is a gorgeous little road right here. Should we do a burnout in the shop van right here?
No, absolutely not. That's illegal and completely irresponsible.
In this episode, we're going to cover getting an aftermarket gear selector in that little thing. Now, I have the transmission for this 350. I'm going to tell you about it in episode 3. For now, the old shifter's got to come out of the car, and I bought this new shifter. Well, I bought this new to me shifter. This is a B&M hammer shifter. This one doesn't have the cover because this was actually made for a Fox body Mustang. So this mounting bracket's probably not going to be necessary. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in here that's going to be different, but I bought this for less than half the price of buying a brand new aftermarket shifter. So I'm going to figure out a way of making it work. Before figuring out how to get the new shifter into the car, first I had to remove the old shifter from the car. So I got the shifter cover off. The aftermarket shifter that I have, it does have a little light that illuminates which gear you're in. This is going to end up getting cut off. These are going to end up being soldered to the new one.
Return fire!
And there we have it. Now that we have the factory gear selector out of the car, you can see that the factory one is significantly more disgusting. So what's next is I need to remove this T-handle, and then I gotta pull this cover off, and then try to slip it into its home, but I feel like its home is gonna be a little bit tight. So I might have to get out the old cutoff wheel. So I'll show you guys how you shift with these things. So basically you have your T-handle up here and then the lock there. Now it's not going to move while the lock is engaged. You unengage the lock by lifting up that little finger hold there. And then so that's park, and then you got reverse, neutral, and it's not going to go any further than that. So you let the lock down, and then you got drive, 2, 1, right? So 1, 2, drive, third, and then you click it up for neutral, and it won't go any further in neutral, so you gotta lift this up to go to reverse, and then park. And then it's not gonna go any further past park. Now, I just love how thoughtful Pontiac was when they had me in mind when they designed this. They knew that I was gonna take this car and do an engine swap on it, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't have put this much adjustment in the transmission gear selector. So I might not even have to cut up this rod at all. Who knows, we'll see. So as the Pontiac Astra is a General Motors product, I can almost guarantee you that they use the same style linkage on that little Pontiac Astra's transmission as the tranny that's going in the car, because that's also a General Motors product. I'm going to pull this off of here and install it on here while it's out of the car, because that would be a big pain to do while it's in the car. Basically, once we have this rod connected to this shifter and this rod's underneath the car, when we put the transmission in, we can cut this rod and lengthen it, or cut it and shorten it to make it work for the new transmission. So shouldn't be very difficult at all. We'll see if we can get this plate off. So I managed to punch out the end of that rivet, but now I got my punch stuck in the rivet. So now I'll get my punch out of the rivet with another punch. See if we can get this cover off. Got all this nasty glue around here, so this is going to be a little bit fun, but we'll see. Okay, so now that I got the shifter ready to rock here, before I test fit it in the little hole here, I'm going to do something just to get these wires out of the way. So although we're not going to be using these wires, we are going to need to bring this one back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of mechanic wire, wrap it around this, and then pull it through all together so that I can bring it back later on. So as you can see, the shifter is happy in its new home. This actually came in the box that the shifter came in. I guess this is the cover for the center console of the Fox Body Mustang. So we are actually going to use this. I'm going to cut this up and use this as a guide to snap this in. So we are going to use the original cover. I'm just going to cut it up, stick this down into it somehow. Basically, I'm just going to stir all this up in a big pot and cook it. After cutting off the LED's electrical connector, I stripped the wire ends and hooked up a battery charger to make sure that when the top plate is in its new cover, the correct gear will be illuminated. Alright guys, so I've left this to cure overnight. Now the four little bracket mount things that I put in are rock solid, but now we have all these little gaps around here. So what I'm going to need is some plastic to fill in those gaps. So I'm going to go steal the bumper off my neighbor's car and start cutting it up. So if you guys ever need plastic for a small project like I do, go to a body shop, specifically the back of a body shop. If the cost of repairing a bumper is going to be more expensive to the shop than replacing it, they're going to replace it. So every single body shop has a stack of old bumpers with damage on them sitting behind them. Just ask. So now that all my templates are done, I just got to trace them out with a Sharpie and cut them out of this bumper. Well, the rain is coming down outside, but I managed to get all the sanding done on the filler work, and it turned out really good. So now what I have to do is I have to wash it down with some wax and grease remover, spray it with a little bit of adhesion promoter, prime it, and then paint it. So the bodywork's done on this, but I have no way of mounting this to this. So I need to cut this tab off and this tab off, drill out those holes so they match those holes so I can slip it underneath. I'll still be able to use the factory mounting points. So just when I thought I was done, I had another fresh idea. Because I'm putting red neons under the dash like I have with 4 of my cars. I just love it. Some people hate it, whatever. The lights will come on automatically when you start the car. My wife doesn't like driving with the lights on at night, so I'm gonna have a little hidden kill switch in the front of this console. Also, a USB charger in there. So I'm gonna cut this up, sink that down into there. If you have to charge your cell phone, just reach around, find a little hole. There you go. Okay, so I've got this cover done. It's ready to install in the car. Now, you may be asking, why not just buy a new one? You could get one for $70, or you could get one for $100. I found out that's actually a thing. You could get one for $100 with a USB already in it. So why not do that? Well, A, that wouldn't make a very good YouTube video. All right, add to cart. And B, now I have a custom one-off piece. This is probably the only one like it in the world, and I'm really happy with it. And I think it's a cool conversation piece too. So thanks for watching, guys. I hit that subscribe button and the little like button down there. So now I gotta piece this thing together, install it in the car, and then beauty shot. So I wanted to make a quick little video here just to explain the dangers of buying used tires. I bought some used tires for this van. The back tires are brand new. Well, almost brand new. The front tires, I saw a little bit of dry rot cracking in it, but I ignored those and I bought them because they're super cheap, so why not? Now, I didn't think anything of this until I was driving down my driveway and this happened. Now, luckily this happened in my driveway. Could you imagine if this had happened when I was doing 120 on the highway? The tire could have been a total blowout, and luckily it happened in my driveway. So check your tires for dry rot cracks, and I'll show you what that looks like. So at first glance, these tires look pretty good, but if you look a little bit closer, you can see all these little cracks. If the tires are totally dry rot and you can see this kind of wear, stay away from them, because you could have a blowout on the highway. I mean, you could just see all the cracking in there. So, dangerous stuff. Another thing to look at is the date that your tires are manufactured. So if you find where it says DOT on your tires, right here in that little outline, it says 1209. This tire was made in the 12th week of 2009. These tires are over 10 years old. Yep. But it really depends on the tire itself, because these tires were made in 2002 and they are not dry rotted at all. So, and they got a decent bit of tread on them. So these are actually pretty good for, you know, a season. I'll probably run these in the summer and just cook them off. These tires were made in like 1957. They're beautiful condition. So basically what it comes down to is if a tire is stored out of the sunshine or up in the rafters or even in a garage, there's a good chance the tires are going to be fine to use or at least cook off.